Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says he worries a lot about execution. He worries a lot about communication in the offensive line. He worries a lot about having two people in the same spot on routes. He worries a lot about all that stuff, but he doesn't worry about guys giving efforts. Jerry Jones also says that he wants to stick with Cooper Rush over Trey Lance at quarterback because Rush gives them the best chance to win games. Even though you nonsensically traded a 4th round draft pick in last year's NFL draft for a quarterback that you now refuse to play. So much so to the point to where you've exposed yourself. You literally just showed you're the one making personnel decisions. You just showed you're the one telling Big Mike who to play, when to play them, how much they can play. This combined with the fact that Mike McCarthy said last night after Monday Night Football that the team is frustrated and he wanted to play Trey Lance late in the game. No wonder why Trey Lance was over there looking like a sad puppy, because he thought he was about to get into the game because his head coach probably wanted him to play, and then Jerry saw that man warming up on the sideline, made that call down there and was like, hey, what are we doing here? There's no need to do this. Jerry, pull your head out of your ass. Stop worried about making personnel decisions. Stop worried about making decisions that the head coach should be making. And how about you worry about making sure that AT&T Stadium doesn't kill someone on the football field as the roof is falling to the ground? The Dallas Cowboys find themselves in a serious dilemma. Because you see, we find ourselves in a place where even Stephen A. Smith doesn't find as much joy as poking fun at the Cowboys. He's gotten to the point of he's actually starting to feel sorry for just how pathetic this entire organization looks right now. This isn't directed at the players. I'm not mad at the players. Y'all are doing what you guys are capable of doing. That's all y'all can possibly do, is do what you guys individually are capable of doing. I'm upset at the ownership for not putting together a better roster, and I'm upset at the head coach for putting together this putrid ass scheme on the field and some of the head scratching decisions he does make. Those decisions that he is responsible for, he's still making some bad ones, man. This is 2 weeks in a row with nasty fake punt tries. Mike McCarthy himself, he's doing a damn good job himself of making himself look incapable of making decisions, but Jerry, you still haven't figured it out yet, huh? You still out here talking about who gives us the best chance to win. For what? At what point does everyone just take a step back and realize that being 9-8 as an organization gets you nowhere? It doesn't do you any good, especially when your roster is actually kind of poo at this point because your GM completely sat on his old decrepit ass hands all summer long and probably couldn't pick up a damn phone because he had arthritis shooting through his knuckles, and he didn't make any moves at all during free agency. And this is what it looks like now. It looks like having to see Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb and all these guys on the sideline looking like they're having the least amount of fun humanly possible on a football field, because it is just pathetic what we have seen the Dallas Cowboys degrade to. And now, to kind of twist the knife in the wound a little bit, we got to deal with nonsensical narratives being thrown around about what's going to happen with this team in the future, even though there's still 29 other teams in the NFL that don't even have their present decided yet. The rest of the national media is already worried about what the Cowboys going to be doing 5 to 6 months from now. And by national media, that also unfortunately includes Cowboys legend Michael Irvin, which I already told y'all guys, all of our legends, all of them, no matter if I disagree or agree with them, they're all entitled to their opinions. They delivered the ultimate goal to all Dallas Cowboys fans. So I don't care if it's nonsensical or not. Go ahead and say it, Mike. Go ahead and try to get your best buddy Deion Sanders hired in Dallas. And I'm more so about getting this team's culture changed around and just becoming more of a serious program again. And someone like a Ben Johnson, to me, should be like a premium candidate for Jerry Jones if Ben Johnson is willing to put up with Jerry's foolishness. However, Michael Irvin has been pushing this Deion Sanders to Dallas narrative, so much so to the point to where he's now saying that he has great sources, probably Deion himself, letting him know that if the Cowboys were to draft a Dez Sanders, then Deion Sanders would likely come to the Cowboys to be the head coach and fill in that position. Here's the problem. I don't know if y'all looked at the NFL draft order, but literally 7 out of the 8 teams ahead of the Dallas Cowboys would probably draft the Dez Sanders before the Cowboys ever had a chance to pick them. So the Cowboys would have to find themselves in a situation where they have a top 3 draft pick just to even have a shot at picking Shedeur. And in a year, like Ed Waters said, in which you just made Dak Prescott the highest paid player ever, and he has a no trade clause and prohibitive cap hits to keep you from doing some foolishness like this, that's not going to happen. The Titans, the Giants, the Raiders, there are so many teams that would take a Dez Sanders before he ever fell to the Cowboys. The Panthers, the Browns, the Jets, so many teams. So that's not happening. Shedur's not going to be here. And would it make me mad? A little bit, because it would be yet another waste of resources. You've now wasted 2 fourth-round draft picks on 1, Trey Lance, who you refuse to play Jerry Jones, and you refuse to let your head coach play him, and 2, Jonathan Mingo, a guy that, man, you could have held on to that pick and drafted a receiver on a fresh deal that's a little bit younger, that hasn't developed any bad habits from playing with a terrible franchise like the Carolina Panthers. And I'm not saying this to knock Jonathan Mingo at all. I'm just saying, just realistically speaking, the trade was made for absolutely no reason, especially when your quarterback isn't even going to be throwing to the man. You got the backup out here. You got the milkman out here throwing to Jonathan Mingo right now. So this team, the narratives that's about to be swirling about this team, and just everything that's been going on. God himself is trying to tell Jerry Jones it's time to pack it up. The moment you get metal falling from the ceiling just hours before a game is shown on national television, it's the only game on TV in front of everyone. The moment that type of stuff starts happening, maybe that's a little bit of divine intervention, Jerry. Maybe that's God telling you to go, come on and sit next to daddy real quick. I don't know, Jerry, but this has gotten out of pocket. And this circus that the Cowboys have become is not even really a circus at this point. It's like watching the Titanic on repeat, or watching Mufasa get thrown off the mountain. This is the saddest scenes that you can think of in any of your favorite movies. This is like watching that stuff on repeat over and over again, because yes, Jerry Jones deserves this, but damn it, the fans and the players damn sure don't deserve this type of pain. This is ugly, and this is all Jerry Jones's fault, and we're going to squarely point the finger at Jerry Jones. And Cooper Rush is going to be our starter going into next week, according to Mike McCarthy, but there will be a package for Trey Lance, again, according to Mike McCarthy. And y'all, for those of y'all that's like, oh, let's see what Trey Lance has, or oh, they're scared to play Trey Lance because then there's going to be controversy. No, there's not. Trey Lance could win the next 6-7 games, and guess what's going to happen? He's going to go sign with another team in free agency so he can actually have a chance to compete for a starting job. So if he goes out there and he has a good showing, it actually works against the Cowboys. It actually is in the Cowboys' best interest not to let that man play at all, so he doesn't play well. So that way Jerry Jones can lowball him in the offseason and bring him back as the backup quarterback for pennies on the dollar. I'm guaranteeing you that's what we're seeing right now. They're not allowing Trey Lance to establish any type of value for himself. They want his value to be exactly where it is. And the last thing that anybody remembers is that man throwing about 6 interceptions in the last 2 appearances he's made in an NFL game. One in the regular season, one in the preseason. One of them games he had 5 picks in, another one he had 1. I think it was like 4 or 5. But either way, that's the last thing the NFL GMs remember about Trey Lance. And if Jerry doesn't let him kind of, I guess, erase those memories, it actually benefits the Cowboys business-wise. And you're likely going to see Trey Lance re-sign here as a backup quarterback, especially if he doesn't play throughout the rest of the season. I'm willing to bet that's what we're going to end up seeing, y'all. But yeah, we are firmly in tank season right now. I told y'all, we trying to keep them spirits high. It's just, we falling really far down the hole whenever Stephen A. and First Take and some of the Talking Head shows are now just starting to just take pity on how pathetic we look. And they're really starting to question whether Jerry is healthy or not, like mentally and physiologically. Yeah, it's bad. And on top of that, Former Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant also wanted to chime in on what he's seeing from the Cowboys. He says his analysis of the Cowboys has been accurate many times over the years. Despite this year's performance, he thinks that McCarthy, Dak, and CD have a poor relationship. The team doesn't mesh well, and Micah's podcast is an issue for some in the organization. Though it promotes accountability, it also promotes him talking about stuff that, quite frankly, no one in the fan base gives a damn to hear that man talking about. Forget the accountability and all this stuff. Promote the accountability in your damn locker room, Micah. We don't need you to be doing that on the podcast, because you also promoting how great everyone else in the NFL is. And quite frankly, Cowboys fans are tired of hearing that BS too, bruh. That's the same thing as when you was talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Go win one for the division. Y'all remember a few years ago, Micah actually said that, right? He told the Eagles to go win a Super Bowl for the division, bro. That is not how this works in the NFL, Micah. So, yeah, I'm sure that podcast has rubbed some people the wrong way, because as someone who tried to initially support it, it's rubbed me the wrong way. But Dez says, as an ex-player who knows chemistry, it's easy to tell when it's not there. If we're being honest, nobody should be offended. I'm coming from a non-biased perspective. Oh, boy. And I have to say, it's hard to disagree with much of anything that Dez Bryant just said. We've already talked about, it seems like something isn't connecting there with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, and I can probably imagine why it's not connecting. You're dealing with two different type of guys in two different points of their lives. Dak Prescott settling down and having a family. He's trying to focus on career and home. And CeeDee and Trevon and some of these other guys, they're still young. And they still, no matter what's going on, they still want to go out, have a good time, get seen on the camera, dancing and skits into songs and doing all that type of stuff, bro. And I'm not surprised. If this is the takeaway that Dez has as far as Dak, CD, Mike McCarthy and all being on the same page, and to be fair, I think it's more so Dak and CD as players not being on the same page with Mike McCarthy as a play caller. I think that's more so what he was getting at there. But just from a personality and meshing and really seeing that strong bond that you typically want to see from a QB1 and a wide receiver one, especially like one of those top pairing in the league type of situations. Those guys are just very on very opposite ends of the spectrum as far as how they handle business and their personalities and their archetypes. And I think this overall, this whole football team is just a mess. It's scatterbrained. And it feels as if someone threw a whole bunch of different puzzle pieces into a box, and then you open it up and you realize, I can't actually complete a puzzle with this because none of these pieces actually fit. That's what this team feels like right now. We have a few pieces from the same puzzle set, but for the most part, we got a bunch of mixed pieces in our box, y'all. That's just what it is. So what do we do from here? What can we do? Boycotting sports franchises it just doesn't work. I can't remember the last time an actual boycott of a sports franchise, a major franchise. When was the last time it's actually happened, and when is the last time it worked? Tell me that. I don't think you probably can. I don't think boycotting is the answer here. I don't think, trying to abstain from buying jerseys. I don't think that type of thing is the answer. I think that Jerry is starting to show cracks. Jerry is starting to show that the way that the fans have been voicing their displeasure with his decision making, and the fact that people are now starting to look at Jerry, the public perception of Jerry. Understand, Jerry is all about attention. Someone who's all about attention cares a lot about perception. Trust me. And Jerry Jones's public perception as a businessman, as a football mind, is now starting to get called into question. And that right there is the best way to get at Jerry Jones, to send a message to him, is directly to his ego. Okay, yes, boycotting and all that stuff, it sounds good, it sounds great, and it sounds like it's going to be a great time. But you know what works even better? Tens of thousands of fans making it a point to tell you how bad you suck at your job. And them being very vocal about that to the point to where it's now getting coverage on national media, local media, YouTube, whatever it may be. Everyone seems like they're on the same page. Stephen A. Smith, the national media talking heads, Cowboys fans, everyone's looking directly at Jerry Jones right now, and everyone's pointing the finger at him. And that's why you see a Jerry Jones that's acknowledging the issues that's being seen on the field and trying to let everyone know, like, hey, I see it, and this is unacceptable. We got to be better. We got to do better. It starts with me, blah, 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 all that stuff. All we can do as fans, y'all, is continue to watch this tank. Hope that we get a premium blue chipper to come to the Big D, have a nice draft, and hope that Jerry Jones' ego gets wounded enough throughout the course of this season to where he really understands that fans are tired of just the status quo. Fans are tired of hanging around the rim. This ain't basketball, Jerry. Like Stephen A said, you could have brought up the red zone and the goal line, and you talk about the rim. And that just kind of shows how far off of the same page, to the point where we're not even in the same book, the Dallas Cowboys fans and Jerry Jones actually are, right? So Jerry Jones, all we can do is continue to needle at his ego and hope that something changes. Hope that his ego finally gets wounded enough to where he wants to make a statement. He wants to show everyone how great he is and how willing he is to make moves and how he's a winner and how he knows what he's doing. All we can hope is that we needle him into being aggressive. That's it, y'all. Stick. Same old cow.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boy? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Shut up, my boy. Hey!